Typically, amateur golfers struggle to sequence their swing in an efficient manner. I'm going to show you why using a SuperSpeed, the red stick, the heaviest stick of the three, can help you improve your sequence, which in turn can improve your club head speed and consistency of club delivery. So now using the Golf Force plates, I'm going to show you two different swings. One's going to be an upper body dominated sequence, the other is going to be a lower body ground up dominated sequence. I'm going to analyse the two differences and show you how we can improve the sequence using the red stick. So when we look at the ground reaction force data and how I'm moving my body mass and my pressure throughout the swing in the upper body dominated sequence, I want you to pay close attention to this blue line at the bottom, but also where my pressure is in the percentage wise at the top of the backswing. So if we class top of the backswing in this case is the moment I start to change direction with the club head, we can see pretty much that I'm 70-30 onto my trail side. So most of my pressure is into my right side in this case. And then from here, this blue line starts to go up quite vertically, but it peaks out. So the max point roughly is as I'm coming into impact, and then it drops a little bit and goes up again in the follow through. So I'm not able to get into my lead side very effectively. Whereas when we compare it against the more efficient sequence, first and foremost, let's go to that top of the backswing position again. So about here, and we can see straight away my pressure is already 50-50. Now what this means is I've actually already started to transfer more of my pressure towards the lead side, which is known as that kind of lateral shift towards the target. So that's a change of directions happening much earlier. So my timing is better. This will now give me more space to push more vertically. So you can see how this blue line is much steeper. So I'm able to push now into the ground harder and earlier. And you can see by the time the club is shaft parallel to the ground, I've already peaked out my vertical force. So as I now move into impact, the club is more in that freewheeling motion. I'm able to rotate out the way, and I see how this blue line drops off quite drastically through impact, which means essentially I'm elevating and coming off the ground. My vertical force is maxed out, and now I'm able to, in a free manner, extend all the way into the follow through and into a full extended elevated movement, rather than what we saw with that other pattern where we kind of saw that little jagged motion. That was me, in essence, trying to maintain some stability because I weren't able to generate my forces at the right time that would give me stability and rotational freedom. So the two different patterns, depending on how we sequence, are going to give us totally different ground reaction force data, as we can see, and that is evidence here, and we want to know how we're going to improve that. So now we understand the difference between how ground force and sequence are influenced together and how this relates to club delivery. We want to understand how we can optimize that. Now obviously the sequence we're looking for in an ideal manner, it's more the timing of the forces, how that lower body, the move into the lead side, then the hips, then the trunk, shoulders, elbow, wrist, and the club is then being maximized, the energy is being maximized at impact, and obviously that can help with all kinds of important factors. But what we're trying to do is how can we improve that sequence? We know that amateur golfers often, because they're that upper body dominated motion where they're pulling their hands and arms at the same time as trying to open up and get into the lead side, that can create very much that steepening motion, which then can lead to the early extensions, the loss of postures, lots of basically compensations into the ball that impact club delivery and distance. So when we're using the heavy stick, one of the reasons this is great for sequence is because it's heavier than a normal golf club. What we should be able to do is be able to feel the weight of the club in the hands in a more conscious manner. We want the weight of the club, so if you look at the top of where the stick is, we want that to be the last thing that moves in the downswing, so the sequence. We don't want to feel like the hands and arms are being pulled at the same time as trying to get into the lead side. So a really simple way of doing this is we're going to have a soft grip, so almost hold it as light as possible so we can really feel it. We're going to try and swing up, and we're going to try and feel like the weight or the club head stays there for longer while we try and get into the lead side and open up the lower body. So this isn't about doing this fast and with high intensity. We're just trying to get some rhythm. So there I can feel the weight of the club stay back, while my lower body, I'm almost drifting into my left foot, into my left hip, and I'm feeling like I'm almost opening up my body and letting the club be pulled along for the ride. So I'm just trying to feel that motion, and once I kind of get some awareness, I then need to increase that intensity. So I'll go a bit faster back and a bit faster through, but I'm still creating that feeling of lower body works first. And that then relates back to that vertical. Because we're pushing earlier, we're able to get out of the ground earlier, we're able to maintain our tilts, and we're able to get more energy transferred to the club head. So by doing this and using the stick every day with some conscious focus on the smoothness, the rhythm, and building up that tempo and speed, when we then get over the bull, we should be able to really understand, instead of winding up and just trying to pull the club down hard to the bull, we can almost change that sequence and change that effort levels to really maximize that efficiency. And if you want to see which exercise is best to help with this movement drill, make sure to watch this video next.